Hello, welcome to the first of two videos that I'm going to show you for this first lesson on permutations and combinations, our new unit. Now, if I could rename this unit, instead of using these big fancy words, I would use a simple little phrase. So I'm just going to cross that out. I would call this unit, how many ways? That's what I would call this, because these are two different ways of counting up how many ways are there to do things. And that's what we're going to be working on today. So the first part of this unit is introducing something called the fundamental counting principle. Another really complicated way of saying how many ways are there to do something. And so the first example that I'm going to start with here is trying to pick some sort of clothing choice or an outfit. Now, this is a task, and this task can be broken down into subtasks or to several stages. I'm going to write my two stages like this. We've got one stage and another stage. The first stage is for skirts. So Mary has to choose a skirt, and then the second stage of this task, or the subtask, is that she has to choose a top. So we're going to choose a blouse. Okay? And the fundamental counting principle says that the number of ways to do this entire task is to simply take the product of the two subtasks. So for skirts, there are 3 ways to choose skirts, and there are 4 ways to choose blouses. And the fundamental counting principle says that that means that there are 12 ways to do this task. Okay, that's how many choices she has. Now, I'm going to demonstrate why this is by showing a tree diagram. And it's going to look like this. So the first is the task. And I'm going to break that task into subtasks. And so the first one is the 3 different skirts. So I'm going to just call it A skirt, B skirt, and C skirt. And then after each choice, I'm going to have 4 choices for blouse. 1, 2, 3, 4. A blouse, B blouse, C blouse, or D blouse. And if I chose uppercase A skirt, then I can still have 4 choices after that, A, B, C, or D. And then if I chose uppercase C skirt, then I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 different possible blouses. And so you can see that each one of these branches sort of reminds me of how we did probability. Each one of these branches shows one of the combinations. So that's all of the A skirts with all of the possible different blouses, 4 different outfits there. B, A, B, 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 C, B, D, C, A, C, B, C, C, and C, D. And so you can see, if you count them up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 ways to pick an outfit. Okay, you can see why I'm calling this how many ways. So this fundamental counting principle is simply the number of ways. Now, if you look at the number of choices there, you can see that there's 12 altogether, 3 here. Each one of those has 4. And then if I look at this section, of course, there's 12. So you can see how you can use these numbers, 3 and 4, to arrive at the answer 12. Now, I'm going to invite you to read through this because this is the idea with the fundamental counting principle. Now, the way that I work through the fundamental counting principle is I use little blanks to show stages. So here's an example. I'm just going to do the first one, and then I'll leave the rest of these for you to try before I give you the next little bit of insight to how this can work. So I'm going to see how many ways can we arrange these letters. I have 3 letters here. So I'm going to break this task of arranging letters into 3 stages. 3 stages. This is the first letter choice, and there are 3 ways to do that. Okay, if I've used one of them, one of the letters, now there's only 2 ways, and then finally for the last choice there's only 1 way. And so I can multiply all these together, and of course I get 6 ways. 6 ways to arrange CAT. And I suppose if you wanted to, you could try this out. You could try CAT, CTA, and then put A first, C or ACT, ATC, and then finally put the T first and go TCA and TAC. And you can kind of see, yeah, of course, simple case like this, 6 different ways. So I'll get you to try this one out and see what you think. The next few are simpler, and I will join you with the second video in a second.